Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2. I don't know why I didn't say this was part 2 and there was a part 1, but just another video about the spread machine cards in Oracle. So you watched the other video where I just kind of gave you a walkthrough of what the deck is and what the main concepts are, and also some of the deck specs when it comes to like the box and the paper, etc. You can check out that other video. This video is mainly going to be about what you can do with this deck and how you can use this to craft spreads, so spread machine cards and Oracle. So obviously, since this is a spread crafting deck for cards, spiritual card slingers and truth seekers, the first thing you can do, obviously, well, the main thing that you can use it for is crafting spreads. But there's actually so many things you can do with this deck. You can use this to set intentions. You can use it to journal. There's lots of like built-in questions on these cards already. You can literally just use these as journal prompts. You can design spreads for yourself. You can design spreads for your client if you're reading professionally or if you're reading for someone else. I find this is really good when you just want to like, what do you want to focus on? Okay, let's focus on this. Let's do this. Let's explore this. So this deck is going to make it really easy for you to just quickly pick out what you want to work on and what you want to explore in a spread. Because I know like a lot of us, like we want to do a reading, we just feel that vibe of wanting to do a reading, but we don't know what to focus on. So this deck is really just, it's going to make that very easy for you. So let's say you want to do a reading, like what I was just saying. You want to do a reading, but you have no idea what to focus on, but you know your heart yearns for a reading. So this is what you can do. So take out the Seeker card, and that can be your Significator card. And then, oh, the Quick Start card is mixed in here. And then what you can do is, since you don't really know what to focus on, guess what's useful? The Focus Area category. You can take out the Focus Area category, right? Because you don't know what to focus on, and then just give it a quick shuffle and just see what does the universe want you to know and what really needs your attention in your life right now, or just something that you could explore. All right, so you just give it a shuffle and then you pull out a card, which will represent the category that you can focus on, which is career, work, and business, right? So now you have you represented in the spread, and then you have a category. This is just like a really quick, easy way to use this deck. Once you do that, like you pull the Seeker out and then you pull the Focus Area cards, what you can do next is you can pull one card from each category to see like what surrounds the situation, right? Let's say you put this, let's put the Seeker here. You can arrange this however you like in whatever layout, and let's say this is your focus area. So let's overlap it a little bit. Actually, let's put this on top because that's like kind of like the general theme. And then let's put Seeker here in the center. And then let's see, when it comes to light work, what is something surrounding the issue, right? So you can do the same thing. You don't know what to focus on. You just take out the category of light work, shuffle it, pull a card. Right, self-love. All right, so that's the second category. And then you go to the shadow work category. So you do the same thing. Right, and then you do, oh wait, that is processing. Why is that in there? Sorry, I was like demonstrating something in the other video and I didn't show. Oh, okay. All right, let's do karma. I think I did responsibility in the other spread. Okay, so now we got shadow work and light work. Right, you can put, you know, just right next to Seeker because they're a duo. You know, they have, you know, they contrast each other. So self-love and karma. That's very interesting. Okay, next we have this big category which is called to action. So what you can do is you can pull one card each from each of the subcategory, or you can shuffle the whole thing, or just like select and then just like pick a card. So maybe instead of shuffling, you want to consciously select a card this time. And maybe by the time now you look at the spread you have so far and you have some idea about where this is going, so you can perhaps consciously choose something from the call to action category to kind of complete the spread. And let's say when it comes to career, work, and business, you have like some recurring lessons that are kind of like the same old rock situation that you're unable to break free from. So there's like some karma involved that's kind of perhaps keeping you trapped in the same cycle. And maybe this is a lesson of self-love. Maybe you are an overgiver, an overworker, a perfectionist, speaking for a friend. And you really need to learn to love yourself and not repeat the same cycle of being overcritical and then overgiving and overcompensating and then devaluing yourself in the eyes of the world, and becomes a bad cycle of stress and anxiety and overwhelm, and then the cycle repeats again. So you kind of like, let's say you are aware of the issue. So you know what you want to do right now, like you know what it's talking about, you know that this is something that you want to heal from. So you pull the heal card from the expansion category, and then you look at success. So maybe you know that this is something that really takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of like micro adjustments when it comes to your habits, your thoughts. So you pull the adjust card, right? Because you know like that's something you want to work on. You want to slowly tweak your way into success, because sometimes transformation, well, most of the time transformation doesn't happen overnight. It takes commitment and efforts to change. So you want to look at what are some of the things you can tweak. And also, perhaps you want to look at how you can best integrate some of the new ideas that you're brewing, you know, when you're considering the things that you want to tweak. So, bam, instant spread. So this is a 6-card or 7-card spread. You can even pull a card for the focus area category, or you can just use this as like a guiding, like a topic card. You don't even need to kind of like pull a card for this, but you can do whatever you want with it. You can just create a spread by pulling a card from each category. And if you don't know, like I said, if you don't really know, like if you don't have to consciously choose the call to action category, like you can just shuffle, or you can either shuffle or you can consciously pick a card from each category. So either way it works. So that's the first way where you can just kind of like create a spread really quickly and then get a powerful reading from it. Okay, so that is the first way that you can utilize this deck when you want to create spreads on the fly. Another way is to shuffle the whole thing, and I don't want to do that right now because I have some other stuff that I want to show you that requires the categories to be intact. And yeah, it's also gonna bug me because it's color coded and it has different categories. So another way to do this, I think I'll do this at the end to show you. You can shuffle the entire deck just to see what comes up. So you can use this to craft a spread right away. Let's say you want to do a reading, and then you have a very specific thing that you want to explore. Let's say you are going back to school and you feel like you're a little bit too old to go back to school, and you also maybe have gone to school before and you don't know if this is a good idea, but you do love to learn and you do want to upgrade and level up to pursue this next thing, right? So you already know what you want to work on. So from the focus area, you can pull out academia, learning, and education. And then you look at the seeker category. You look at your motivation, because I think let's say you really want to just really anchor down, like anchor into why you want to do this, because I think a wonderful thing about going back to school when we are older, or when we're not following the normative pattern of like, okay, just go to school because this is where the time where everyone goes to school. I think the thing with going back to school is that it is a more conscious choice. It's because you actually need it or want to do it. So I think, let's say you are in a situation where you really want to just connect with a big why. You want to know why you're motivated to do it so you can make the best decision possible, right? Okay, so you pull the motivation card because you want to connect with your big why. And then you go ahead to look at the light work category. So you can have a specific intention or topic that you want to explore at the beginning of your spread crafting, but you don't need to know the specific positions right away. That's what this deck is for. It's kind of like a big buffet where you look at all these options and you're like, I want that, I want to explore that, and I want this position to be in my spread. So it's very, very very intuitive to use, very flexible. So let's say you look at the light work category, and then I put down truth earlier. So you want to look at the truth of, because maybe perhaps you're seeking some clarity, you're feeling confused about the different options that you have in your life. So you want to look at the truth, what's something that could center you when you're making a decision, right? Maybe you're trying to make a decision whether you want to go back to school, you want to just pursue this job or start this business or something, but you want a skill upgrade. So perhaps you pull down the truth. So to share some clarity. And then because we really want to find like a sense of purpose to align yourself to, you can pull out the purpose card, and you can maybe like put it high up, kind of like a North Star guiding you, and you can maybe put the truth right here, something to kind of like You can even cross it. So, right, because like your confusion is something that's blocking you. So you can put it here so that truth may illuminate a path. Right? So as you travel down the categories, you look at shadow work, right? And maybe you want to look at some of the things that you're doing to sabotage yourself, because I think you have this perhaps you have some limiting beliefs that are stopping you from making a clear decision, right? Because I think when we're confused, it's really like we have a lot of unresolved emotions and fears about our future or about a certain decision that we're making. So maybe you want to look at what limiting beliefs are sabotaging you. So you can kind of like put these two together. Like it can be like a dual. They can be one position. You can combine two spread positions to create one, right? So that could also happen. So you want to maybe put it here to kind of symbolize that this is like a fucking wall that you're trying to get over. And then purpose is here because you want to connect to it. And then you want to follow up by some call to action cards, because I think it's always good to end with a call to action card, because you want to generate movement in your life. And that's what all spread, that's what like a good spread is for. I think it needs to create momentum after you do a reading. Okay, so let's say you travel down a category again and you look at release card, and you know these are the things you want to look at, the limiting beliefs and the ways that you're sabotaging yourself, and you want to look at how to release it. So, like right away, like it just like looking at the categories, it really just allows you to pick out the things that you want to explore, and you can just build a spread bit by bit, and you can put down release. And then you want to perhaps hone in on that purpose. You put in a line. I know this is turning to be a really big spread, but you don't have to use all the spread positions or when you're doing the actual reading. This could actually just be like, okay, so this is part of the magic of spread crafting, is as you're crafting the spread, as you're traveling down these categories, you're self-reflecting. You're already working out the ideas about yourself. You're already gaining clarity, you know what I mean? Right? Because when you look at, like, let's say you go down the categories and you see a line and you're like, this just affirms, right? This card jumps out at you because it affirms your desire to know what your motivation is, to know what your purpose is. So you pull out a card. So this is also kind of like an act of prayer. You see purpose, you see a line, you pull it out. It's kind of like a card game, right? You deal the card, it's like +2, and it just adds to that purposeness, like that's just adding points, So that's like, like a sneaky sort of benefit about spread crafting. This is you're already engaging with yourself. You're already having a conversation with yourself. Like you're figuring out what you want, right? You're framing your question. You're asking a question. This is really like a big process of framing your question. So you can pull down a line, and then you want to transcend, right? So this could kind of this could connect the limiting beliefs portion and the purpose portion together, and where you want to transcend. That was off screen. And then let's do one more card. And then since we are talking about decision making, we pull out navigate. Okay, so I know this is a really big spread, but like I said, you can kind of just combine together. Let's say you can you combine like these two call to action together. How can you navigate your choices in your life in order to transcend your limiting beliefs? You can just kind of like stack concepts together. You don't have to always use them as like single spread prompt. You can just kind of combine ideas, right? You can do this, and then we're combining purpose and align. We're releasing these two, right? Let's just like slant it right there, so these are connected together, and boom, you have your spread. And this is also like a representation, like a map to your thought process just now, right? It's kind of like you discover that, oh, these are the things you want to work on, and you want to work on releasing them. So it's kind of like like you are creating and receiving at the same time. Like you're engaging with your intuition, you're consciously choosing what express you want to put down, and you're also figuring out what you want to explore, right? So, and then you can just do like a reading on top of this. Ooh, fairy god panda, there she is, super cute. Right? So spread crafting is really cool like that. You can really just like I think this is a magical process of getting to know yourself, figuring out what you want to ask, creating a spread on the fly. Sorry, that was a burp. And then, yeah. Okay, so that's like another way to kind of create a spread, just like consciously travel down the categories, as I like to say, and then just kind of pick out the things you want to explore slowly. And before I go on to the other ways to use this deck, I want to just make a note about, oops, I think I mixed up everything, but whatever. Okay, so something that you can do with this deck is also like you can look at the call to action categories and set a powerful intention with the call to action category, because they're all verbs and action words. This is really a powerful tool to engage with yourself. I think I mixed in the different categories in here. What am I doing? Oh my god. Right, so you can actually start, instead of starting from the beginning, like the seeker category or the focus area category, you can start with the call to action category. If you're feeling stuck, you want to generate some momentum, you know, you can do this again, like shuffle, and then you can just pull out a card and release again. So you can be like, okay, what do I need to release? And then you can, like, usually you want to release something negative, so you can pull a card from the shadow work category. Or perhaps you need to, you know, maybe you're doing spiritual bypassing because you're trying to, like, you're like being like good vibes only. So this will make interesting combos, right? Like if you pull a card from the light work category, something that has to be released, you can keep yourself in check when it comes to spiritual bypassing. And also, just to mention that you can spiritual bypass with shadow work too, so let's not like put that off the table. I actually want to make a video about that, spiritual bypassing through shadow work, because you think you're doing integration work, you think you're being real, you think you're confronting the darker aspects of yourself, but sometimes you use that as an excuse to beat yourself up, right? So spiritual bypassing can happen both ways. But let's say you pull release, and that's something that suggests that, okay, it's like a negative thing that you have to release, and then you pull like maybe like from a more light and fluffy category, like the light work category, and you see what comes up. Oh, that was the card that showed up earlier. Release gratitude. So that's interesting, because maybe you're saying too much gratitude prayers. Maybe it's obviously good to do to have gratitude, but what if you're doing too much of it? Because anything that is too much or too less is unbalanced, right? So maybe you're not focusing on the future, maybe you're not crafting a plan, maybe you're not manifesting, maybe you're not actually creating, like maybe you're not doing actionable steps for you to pursue, for you to generate momentum and pursue something in your life. Maybe you're just too caught up with like, oh, I need to appreciate everything that I have. Maybe you're guilt tripping yourself about wanting more for yourself. So maybe this is why this is showing up. You need to release your gratitude because you want to incorporate more things into your life and not feel guilty about wanting more, but you know what, appreciating the things that you have at the same time. So, you know, you can have interesting, if you want to do a quick reading, you can literally just pull like a call to action card and then pull a concept card from like the light work or shadow work category. You can even do like an action word, you pull from the focus area category, ancestry, generation, DNA, and then you don't even have to do spread machines or spread prompts from the deck. You can just straight away go to your tarot deck and say pull 3 cards and see what is it that you have to release when it comes to your ancestry, generations, and DNA. So there's just so many ways to use this deck. Like, I'm so stoked. Let's say you pull 3 cards, etc., and a hermit, and you can just do a reading from there, and you can release this in the context of this, right? So this is like a good context card, like the focus areas, when you don't really know what to pay attention to. So yeah, that's another way to craft spreads. Another thing you can do is literally just shuffle the entire deck and then just see what comes up. Ooh, okay, so we got victory, ego, and then the shuffling is a little awkward because there's a tripod in front of me, so, but it shuffles beautifully in my personal opinion. Let's say you want a quick spread, 3 cards. So you can pull 3 cards from the deck, and because they're different categories, you can also see like where in your life like has a heavier kind of energy, like which category has like more that you need to pay attention to more, if you know what I mean. For example, you have 2 shadow work cards show up, so you know like, okay, you probably need to do some shadow work because you got 2 shadow work cards, and you have 1 light work card. So you can kind of just like combine this together, right? And then because these are all big concept cards and you don't really know how to get started, you can go to, you know, something that could really give you a direction in your reading is the call to action category. I mean, I already mixed everything, but let's say you want to kind of jumpstart this reading because this is like a lot to tackle. They're all big concepts, right? Let's say you want to jumpstart this reading with a call to action cards, and I know I mixed everything, but we can just shuffle until we get a call to action card. Is that a call to action card? No. Okay, let's just skip that. Also light work. It's not mixed in really well, but you know, I just wanted to show you. Okay, processing. We got accept. Right, so right now you have a spread of 4 cards. You look at accept. Let's say you look at the accept card and you look at a responsibility, and in your mind you say accept responsibility or accept your victory, and you think to yourself that sometimes it's really hard for you to give yourself credit, so you need to accept your victory. So right away you can change the spread. How can you accept your victory? How can you accept your personal victory and acknowledge yourself and validate yourself? And maybe you're like, you recognize that this is a problem, so you put responsibility here. Why is this a responsibility for you to accept your own victories instead of pushing it away and not owning up to anything that you've done? And you look at ego. What is stopping you from doing that? What's the conversation with your ego? What is your ego saying, right? Yeah, that's another way to do the spread. Like, you can either start with a call to action card and see what concepts you need to explore and pair with it, and then you can also start with big concepts and do call to action, or like I just did, you can just do it completely randomly and just like use this entire deck. So that's the spread crafting portion. And before I go, I just want to quickly highlight some of the things that you can use this deck for that is not spread crafting. Okay, so another thing that this deck can do for you is really enhance and deepen your tarot practice and also just your oracle cartomancy practices, right? So let's say you're learning tarot and you're doing a reading, or you're just doing a reading and you're kind of lacking some focus and context, right? Right, okay, let's say you pull, let's just do 3 cards. I don't usually read reversals, but okay, let's say you have, actually let's do 1 card just to say simple. Let's say you do a daily draw and you pull the 5 of Swords. You're just like, I don't really know what this is about. So you can do, this is kind of like reverse spread engineering. It's like you already pulled a card. You're like, am I going to have conflict today? Am I going to get triggered today? Am I going to get argument? Is my ego going to get challenged today? You don't really know what the context is. And you can use spread machines, cards, and oracle. It's also an oracle, right? To bring clarification, or, you know, it's kind of like a modifier, like a clarification card to see what this is about, right? Let's say, upbringing. Interesting. So this will give you some interesting information about that 1 card, that 1 daily draw that you have. You can look at the question prompts here. What limiting beliefs or values were taught to you that still affect you today? What unresolved trauma or negativity have you experienced during your upbringing that still holds power over you? So maybe this could say, like, maybe you're gonna have some triggers when it comes to your parents or the people you grew up with today. Or today it could bring us some issues when it comes to inner child work, or your upbringing, something that is still needs to be settled in yourself, something that's kind of like not integrated. So maybe like you're gonna have a trigger today, and you can, like, you know, you can pull more cards from Spread Machine, or even just pull 1 more card from Tarot to see like what is that trigger, because now you have some context, right? So maybe like, okay, 7 of Wands. So maybe you're just like, okay, I might be feeling really defensive about something. I might be feeling really feisty. I might be very argument prone today. And you can just continue on the reading until you get some clarity, right? What is it that you're being triggered by? So maybe your creative identity, maybe you have this grand idea about a new business or a new project, but there's something that is triggering for you today. Maybe someone's going to disagree with you. Someone's going to put you on a spot. Someone's going to be like, that is a shitty idea. I don't believe in it. And then you're going to get into an argument. So you can really paint a really good picture and just really like isolate whatever it is that you're looking at by pulling a card from Spread Machine, because this is like really like all the concepts in here are just really clear cut. It really helps you contextualize your reading if you're like having a hard time like analyzing the cards. So another example would be, you know, just anytime you're feeling like a little confused or you're like, this is overwhelming, like you're getting a lot of information from the ethers, from your intuition or from the symbolism. I'll just do like a random, say 3-card spread. You're just like, okay, I don't know what this is about. You can also just like, you know, you can do the reverse. This deck is all jumbled up, but you can just take out the focus area category, right? Let's pretend this is like all focus areas, right? You can just shuffle it and you're just like, what is this about? I don't know what to focus on. You can take out the focus area category and see which area of your life this is referring to. And let's say you pull a card from the Spirit Machine deck. Let's just pretend I shuffled and got that got that card. You're like, okay, this has to do with my dreams, true calling, and vision. And you know, maybe you have this idea of a community that you want to belong to. There's this like dream life that you want to have, this vision that you have for yourself, but something is holding you back, right? So, you know, you can look at your true calling and your vision. Like, what do you have? What do you dream for yourself? What is it that you're trying to manifest in your life? So this could give you just like a lot of context when it comes to readings. It's kind of like reverse spread crafting. You do the reading first and then you put positions on it to clarify. So that's another thing that you can use Spread Machine for, is to kind of just deepen and engage with your tarot cards and tarot readings even more. And speaking of readings, you can just use Spread Machine as an oracle. Like, you don't even need to create spreads. You can just straight up do a reading. Let's just say you want to do a daily draw again, because it's quicker. You can also just do 3 cards. You can also layer these cards on a pre-existing spreads, and I can show you in a second. But let's say you're doing a daily draw, right? And you got release, to let go, to say goodbye, to set free, to leave, to move on and move forward. I think we got this card a lot in this video, but let's say maybe we can get a different one. Okay, let's just stick with release. Okay, so let's say you do a daily draw and you got the card release. You can just straight up like do a reading using release, and you can read like the quick little elaboration exploration here to see if anything jumps out at you. Let go, say goodbye, to set free, to leave, to move on and to move forward. And let's say the word to leave really jumps out at you, and intuitively it brings up the messages that you need. Like, you're like, okay, this is what I want to leave behind. This is what I want to release today. So that's something that you can focus on. Or today, the day will bring you some opportunities for you to release past traumas or past engagements or limiting beliefs, etc. So this could just already be an oracle reading in and of itself. It's kind of like getting 6 of Swords, right? So this could just be like a reading, and you can use it on a spread that you already have. Let's say, let's do like a quickie. Do I have a 3-card spread in here? Okay, let's do this vision spread that I have. Okay, so the first, right, just using this as an oracle deck. The first, oh, my computer just lit up. First position says, where am I right now, right? And you can just shuffle this deck, use it as a regular deck, like an oracle deck. And I know I'm really clumsy at shuffling. That is not the fault of the deck. There's literally a tripod right here in front of me, and I have to sandwich the tripod with my 2 arms, so it's really awkward right now. Okay. So, courage. Where am I right now? Where do I stand? So you're in a moment of courage. Maybe you're in a moment where it requires courage. It requires you to face your fears, etc. And then you look at the second position, which is, what is my vision right now? And then you get transcend, right? Your vision is to transcend, to rise above and beyond, right? To go beyond, to surpass your limits, to evolve. So that is your vision. Like, you, and this is like already making sense. You need the courage to transcend your limitations and the current version of yourself. Third position, what is the sky I belong to and how can I soar higher? And we have self-love, right? So this is really beautiful because ultimately we transcend our limitations to journey towards more love towards ourselves and more love and compassion just in general. So that's really awesome. And the fourth position says, off screen, but it's right here. How do I realize my vision with action? and we have triggers. So right away, you know, you can just do a reading with this, right? How do I realize my vision with action? You need to examine your triggers. You need to kind of figure out what's holding you back, what's triggering your fears, perhaps, that, and then how can you generate enough courage to move forward, and how can you transcend. So this is already like a powerful reading in and of itself. You can use this for oracle readings. You can use oracle cards with this oracle reading by creating a spread. So just so many things you can do, right? So this deck is also just like good for readings in general. You know, if you just want to use this as like a collection of concepts and do readings with. Whew. Okay, so that's like the oracle portion of this deck. And a couple of other things obviously you can do. I think that's the last thing I want to mention is journaling, right? Let's say you are journaling, let me just grab like a random notebook. Let's say you're journaling, you open a page and you're just like, what do I focus on today? And then you grab your pen. This is not a real pen. This is a Apple pencil, but just pretend that's the closest thing I have on my desk. And then you're just like, what do I write about? La 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 la. So you can be like, you can literally just use this as a collection of journal prompts. You know, you can just pull a card. Release, to let, I keep getting that card, what the fuck? Okay, release, to let go, to say goodbye, to set free, to leave, to move on, and to move forward. You're like, okay, what do I need to release? And then you can either pull some tarot cards to see what you need to release, right? You need to release the bondage that is holding you back. And then you can pull more cards to get some more journal prompts, or this is already like a lot to work with, right? Alright, let's say you have Transcend. Oh, that was the card that showed up earlier as well. So you need to release and transcend the bondage and the cage that is holding you back. So you can start journaling. You can note down the cards, blah, 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 right? You can note down the cards and you can just be like, okay, so what do I need to release? What is keeping me back? And you're like, oh my god, recently there's this thing that really bothered me, blah blah blah, and I have this limiting belief, blah 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 blah, and how can I transcend it? And as you do journal, you know, if you're doing like tarot journaling, how can I transcend? You can just keep pulling cards as you journal, and you get Two of Pentacles reversed. You're just like, okay, Two of Pentacles reversed, this means blah 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 blah, and then you just kind of like journal like that. So you're basically doing like a reading, but journaling. But yeah, because like every single card in this deck has like a lot of you know, guiding questions, so you can just use those as journal prompts. For example, you get fear, and then what are you afraid of? You can just start with there. So it's just a great starting point for journaling, anything intuitive, and just so many ways to use this deck. Yeah, I think I hit all the big ones, but let's say you're doing a ritual and you're doing intention setting, and you have like, this is my little card holder, and maybe you're working on your boundaries. So you pull out, I just saw you pull the assert card, and you really want to like strengthen your intention. So you put it on your card holder or whatever, put it there. And then you can light some candles, you can put on your altar, pull out your altar cloth, and then light some incense, and just really work with this energy and etc. So you can use this for intention setting and oracle, intention setting and just rituals, you know, etc. So many ways you can use this deck. Okay. Oh my god, there's just so many ways to use this deck. If you have like, if you're using it in a way that is not shown in this video, please tag me on Instagram. Or just leave a comment down below so I will know. And yeah, hopefully this video has helped you really envision what you can do with this deck, and also give you some ideas of how you can use this deck and what you can do with this deck. I am so hungry. Yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think of everything that you see in this video. Hope this video helped you, and I plan to make a video for these two expansion packs too soon as well, just to kind of show you what the concepts are and how to use them, etc. But kind of like the general idea is the same. You use them for crafting spreads, or do readings with them, or you can kind of do like reverse spread engineering, where you pull the cards first and then you pull cards from spread machine to contextualize them, use them as oracles, journaling, etc. Sky's the limit. So Alright, thank you so much for watching this video, and if you like, please like and subscribe, and share comments, or share the video, leave a comment, all that jazz, and until then, I'll see you next time. Bye!